The sun glared down on Route 78, baking the small town of Red Valley in gold dust. Inside Miller's diner, the lunch rush buzzed with clinking plates and classic rock humming through an old jukebox. Anna, the waitress, moved between tables with practiced grace, polite smile, tired eyes, and an apron smeared with ketchup from the morning crowd. She had been on her feet for 8 hours straight, but still found time to refill every coffee cup before it was empty. At the corner booth sat a young man, maybe 19, with a diamond watch and a phone worth more than Anna's monthly rent. His name was Derek Collins, son of the wealthiest developer in Red Valley. He sat with 2 friends, all dressed in designer clothes that didn't belong in a diner where coffee was $1 and pie came with free refills. When Anna approached with their burgers, Derek smirked. "Hey, sweetheart," he said loudly, making sure everyone could hear. "You missed the memo on hygiene today? Or is the smell of grease your new perfume?" The booth burst into laughter. Anna froze, tray trembling in her hand, the burgers sliding dangerously close to the edge. Her face burned, but she said nothing, just placed the plates down gently and whispered, "Enjoy your meal." Derek leaned back, unsatisfied. "Oh, don't be shy now," he taunted. "You like tips, right? Here's one for you." And before anyone could react, he spit directly onto the floor near her shoes. The diner went silent. Only the jukebox kept playing, the soft hum of Simple Man drifting eerily through the stillness. Anna blinked back tears and stepped back slowly, clutching her apron. But she didn't notice something that made every regular in the diner hold their breath. From the opposite side of the room, at the long row of tables by the window, 50 men in black leather vests had stopped eating. Forks froze mid-air. Boots pressed against the floor. Each vest carried the same patch, a red and white skull with wings. The hellangels. And now, all 50 pairs of eyes were locked on Derek Collins. The boy hadn't realized that the diner he'd chosen for his little act of arrogance was a stopover spot for a biker run, and that the woman he just humiliated was the one who always kept their coffee hot and their plates full. Outside, the sound of Harley engines idled faintly, a few more bikes pulling in. Inside, the silence thickened. And for the first time, Derek noticed the reflection in the window, rows of leather, tattoos, and cold stares that could melt steel. He laughed nervously. "What? You guys never seen someone teach manners to the help?" No one answered. But one biker, a mountain of a man with gray hair and a scar down his cheek, slowly stood up. The patch on his vest read Viper, President. The wooden floor creaked as Viper stood. His presence alone seemed to drain the air from the diner. 6'4", built like a wall of muscle and old stories, his shadow stretched across Derek's polished sneakers. He didn't shout. He didn't need to. "Pick it up," Viper said, voice low but carrying. Derek blinked, confused. "Excuse me." "The mess you made," Viper replied, eyes steady. "You got 2 hands, use 'em." A few of the bikers leaned back in their seats, arms folded, waiting. Nobody in the diner moved. Anna whispered, trembling, "Please, it's fine, I'll clean it up." Viper turned his head slightly, meeting her eyes. "Not today, Not your mess." Derek scoffed. "Do you even know who I am? My dad." Viper stepped closer until the smell of motor oil and leather hung between them. "Your dad's not here," he said calmly. "But you are. So go on, clean it up." Derek's friends shifted uncomfortably, their earlier laughter gone. One of them mumbled, "Dude, just do it." But Derek's pride outweighed his sense. "You can't tell me what to do, old man," he snapped. A quiet rumble spread through the room, the sound of chairs scraping, boots hitting the floor. One by one, the Hells Angels rose from their tables, forming a line behind their president. It wasn't chaos, it was order. Silent, controlled, and terrifying. Viper didn't even look back. He just said, "You boys eat free today." Anna shook her head. "Viper, please don't. He's just a kid." "Yeah," Viper said, eyes still locked on Derek. "A kid who needs to learn what respect costs before he grows up owing too much of it." Derek swallowed hard. He could feel the weight of 50 stares pressing into him. The smirk on his face had died a long minute ago, replaced by the pale realization that he wasn't in control anymore. Then, Viper did something unexpected. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a few crumpled bills, the same kind Anna had once seen him leave as tips big enough to cover half a shift. He dropped the money onto Derek's untouched plate. "Here's your meal," he said. "Paid by the people you looked down on." Derek's hand trembled. I didn't mean." Viper stepped back. "Then make it right." The diner had never been quieter. Anna's hands shook as she reached for a coffee pot just to have something to do. The smell of bacon, grease, and hot pavement hung heavy in the still air. And then, the door opened. A biker with a red beard leaned in from outside. "Prez," he said. "You might wanna come out here. Got someone looking for this kid." Everyone turned toward the door, including Derek, whose face drained of color. Because standing out by the row of parked Harleys was his father. The sunlight spilled through the open door as Richard Collins stepped inside, an expensive suit, polished shoes, and the kind of confidence that money builds around a man like armor. He scanned the room. His son sat frozen in the corner booth, surrounded by rough, tattooed men with faces carved from stone. "Derek," he said sharply, his voice slicing through the silence. "Get up. We're leaving." Viper didn't move. He simply looked at the man, then back at his brothers, a silent signal to stay calm. "Afternoon," Viper said. "Your boy made a bit of a mess." Richard's jaw tightened. "If my son caused a problem, I'll handle it. You don't talk to him like that." Viper raised an eyebrow. "Like what?" Like his one of you," Richard snapped. "You don't know who I am. I can buy this diner and everything in it." A ripple of low laughter spread through the bikers. It wasn't mocking, just the kind that said, "You really don't get it, do you?" Viper took one slow step forward, his boots echoing on the tile. "You can buy a lot of things, sir. But respect's not on that shelf." Richard's face flushed. "This woman," he gestured at Anna, "works for tips. If she's offended, I'll have Derek apologize." Anna shook her head quickly. "It's fine. I don't want trouble." But Viper's voice cut through again, calm and level. "You shouldn't have to ask for decency. Not in your own workplace." Derek mumbled, "Dad, let's just go." But Richard wasn't finished. "Listen here," he said, turning to Viper. "You don't scare me with your tattoos and your bikes. My lawyers." Viper smiled faintly. "You think this is about fear? No, sir. This is about a woman doing her job with dignity while your boy thought he was above her." He turned slightly to Anna. "You see that? That's what's wrong with the world. People thinking they're better than the ones who serve them." Richard looked around, realizing too late that he wasn't in control of this room, not with money, not with power. Because in this small diner, the code of the road ruled, respect, loyalty, and honor. "Derek," Viper said quietly, "you got a chance to walk out of here with your head high. Say the words your father forgot how to." Derek's voice cracked. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that." Anna smiled weakly. "It's okay." But Viper shook his head. "Not yet. Look her in the eyes. Mean it." Derek did. "I'm sorry," he said again, this time softer, truer. For the first time, Richard's shoulders slumped. He looked at the men surrounding him, not criminals, not thugs, but people who stood for something his wealth couldn't buy. Viper nodded. "Good. That's all we wanted." Then, with one motion, he clapped Derek on the shoulder. "Now, go help her clean that mess." And for the first time in his life, Derek Collins, the rich kid of Red Valley, got down on one knee in a diner and wiped his own spit from the floor. Outside, the sunlight caught the chrome of 50 Harley-Davidsons lined up like sentinels. Inside, the lesson had already begun to settle deep in the silence that followed. When Derek finally stood up, his knees were streaked with dust, his cheeks red with shame. He looked at Anna, then at the bikers who still watched in silence. I'm done," he said quietly. Anna nodded. "Thank you." Viper turned back toward the long table. "All right. Boys. Let's finish our food before it gets cold. The spell broke. Chairs scraped. Laughter bubbled up again, not cruel this time, warm, ordinary, human. The sound of plates and forks returned like rain after a storm. Anna poured coffee for them, hands still shaking a little. On the house, she murmured. Viper grinned. No, you earned every cup of it. He slipped a few bills under his mug, more than enough to cover the meal 3 times over. Derek watched them eat, the clatter and chatter filling the diner. His father stood beside him, silent for once. After a while, Viper looked up. You a smart kid, Derek. Derek hesitated. I guess so. Then remember this, Viper said. The world doesn't care how much money your old man's got. What people remember is how you make 'em feel when they can't give you nothing back. Derek nodded. Yes, sir. Viper smirked. Good answer. Now grab a plate. You might as well eat something. No sense in letting good food go to waste. Derek blinked. Eat? With you guys? One of the bikers laughed. Yeah, rich boy. We don't bite, unless it's ribs. For the first time that day, Derek smiled a little. He sat at the end of their table, awkward at first, but they made room, passing him fries, talking about engines, the road, and life outside small towns. Even his father stayed, standing back, watching his son listen instead of talk. By the time the plates were empty, the tension had melted away. As the bikers headed out, the low roar of Harleys filling the air again, Anna followed them to the door. Thank you, she said. Viper put on his sunglasses, the hint of a grin under his grey beard. You don't thank us. You just keep the coffee hot next time we roll through. Then he turned to Derek and Richard. You two, remember, respect ain't about who you are. It's about who you see. They nodded. The last of the bikes pulled onto Route 78, sunlight glinting off chrome, the sound fading into the distance. Anna looked around her diner, quiet again, but different somehow. Derek stepped forward, awkwardly holding a rag. Can I help clean up? She smiled. Sure, sweetheart. That'd be nice. 3 days later, Miller's diner sat under the same bright sun, the same smell of bacon and coffee drifting through the open windows. But the mood felt lighter now, like the place itself had healed. Anna was wiping down the counter when the doorbell chimed. She looked up, and froze. Standing there, a little out of place but somehow humble, was Derek Collins. No diamond watch this time. No designer jacket. Just a plain t-shirt, jeans, and a sheepish smile. Hey, he said quietly. Morning. Anna tilted her head, cautious but kind. Morning. You here to eat? He nodded. Actually, I was hoping you were hiring. Anna blinked. Hiring? Yeah, Derek said, glancing around the diner. I figured I could help out after school. Wash dishes, mop floors. I'm not great with people yet, but I can learn. For a moment, Anna just stared. Then she smiled softly. You sure you're ready for that kind of work? Derek grinned a little. I think I need it. The cook in the back whistled. World's changing, Anna. Better grab him before he goes back to his mansion. They laughed, and for the first time, Derek laughed too, genuinely. Over the next few weeks, he came by daily. Quiet, respectful, always asking what else he could do. He carried plates, took orders, and once even fixed the jukebox that had been silent since that day. Every so often, a customer would whisper, "Ain't that the kid from the other week?" And Anna would just nod. Yeah, that's him. People can learn, can't they? One afternoon, as Derek wiped down the tables, a familiar sound rolled down Main Street, the low, powerful growl of engines. 50 bikes again, chrome shining in the sun. Anna stepped outside as Viper and the hellangels pulled up, parking in perfect formation. Derek froze, rag in hand. Viper swung off his Harley, smirking as he saw the boy through the diner window. Well, I'll be damned, he said. Didn't think we'd see the kid with a mop. Anna laughed. He's been earning his keep. Viper gave a slow nod, his eyes meeting Derek's through the glass. Good. Guess he learned faster than most grown men do. He turned to his crew. All right, boys. Coffee on me. And tip heavy. The roar of laughter filled the diner again as the bikers filed in, filling every booth like before, but this time, there was no tension. Just warmth, respect, and the clatter of plates shared between people who, a week ago, couldn't have been further apart. Derek poured coffee for Viper himself. His hands still trembled a little, but his voice was steady. Thanks, for that day. Viper sipped, then smiled. Don't thank me, kid. Thank yourself. You got up and changed the road you were on. By the next morning, the diner was back to its easy rhythm, bacon sizzling, cups clinking, sunlight dancing off the chrome outside. Viper and his crew were preparing to leave town again, their engines already rumbling softly like thunder in the distance. Derek stepped outside with a tray of coffees, handing each one out carefully. Viper took his cup, nodding in approval. You've come a long way in a short road, kid. Derek smiled. Guess the road teaches faster than school does. Viper chuckled. That it does. Keep walking it the right way. The bikers mounted up, the air filling with the smell of gas and dust. Before riding off, Viper turned one last time toward the diner. He lifted 2 fingers in salute to Anna, and to Derek, who stood beside her, apron tied around his waist. Keep your head low, your heart high, and your word good, Viper said. Then 50 engines roared to life, rolling down Route 78, sunlight flashing off their vests until they became nothing but heat waves on the horizon. Anna looked at Derek, her eyes warm. Never thought I'd see the day the Hell's Angels turned into your mentors. Derek smiled shyly. Guess they were the angels I needed. The jukebox clicked behind them, and Simple Man started to play again, the same song from that tense afternoon, but now it sounded like peace. Respect is the road that never ends. It carries you farther than money, power, or pride ever could. Sometimes, the hardest lessons come wrapped in humiliation, but those are the ones that make us human. Derek learned that kindness isn't weakness and that true strength lies in humility. The bikers didn't teach him fear, they taught him dignity. Because when men who've seen the road's hardest miles choose compassion over anger, that's when the world shifts a little closer to right.